Hey there guys, this is Jesse with Permofit. So, this is kind of an impromptu video, but it's August in the United States. Well, I guess technically it's August everywhere, but it's August 2019, and I'm in southern Montana, and heat is an issue. And if you are down south in the United States, heat is really an issue. But it's an issue everywhere. You know, there's places in like France and India and Africa, a lot of other countries and stuff where heat will just straight up kill you. Um, so this video is kind of about kind of DIY ways to mitigate heat issues in your home. I'm not going to build anything or show you anything, although I do have some interesting ideas, and we'll see when we get into that. So, we don't have central air. Our house was built in 1941, and it was abandoned. Well, it was empty for like 4 years before we bought it and moved in. Um, Here in southern Montana, it is a little bit on the dry side. I think it's considered like kind of a high desert area, but it's the humidity is not super low. Matter of fact, I have a humidistat. Let's see here. So in my house right now, if that'll focus, really, it is 35% humidity, which I guess isn't super low. You get like Vegas and stuff, and it'll be like under 10%. And 75.9 degrees. It's a nice cool day here, and it's kind of overcast, and it's probably going to thunderstorm. Southern Montana, we get a lot of rolling thunderstorms. It gets fairly hot in the high 80s, 90s, maybe low 100s during the day, and then in the evenings, if it cools off, it'll cool off kind of rapidly with a storm, and then we'll get rolling thunderstorms or hail, a lot of hail, and it'll range from anywhere from like BB size to usually a little under tennis ball size, the kind of extreme. But anyways, I'm getting distracted here. So a couple things to keep in mind with heat is humidity and evaporative cooling and airflow. So evaporative cooling is you sweat, air moves across it, evaporates, and that gives a cooling sensation. Same with condensation. You pull a cold beverage out of the fridge, it sits on the counter, you get moisture in the air, condenses on it, and then the heat evaporates it, and it kind of makes it feel cool. It's a cycle, and then it eventually warms up. So one way is ceiling fan. Sorry about the glare and the light and stuff. I actually have a video on this, I think, me installing it, and it's just a horrible video, and this was a big pain in the ass because the house was wired in 1941. There's just a giant cluster of wires that go into a box, and one of the older wiring styles in the United States was you bring one power wire into the junction box, and then all the other wires for an area will spider out. So you'll have let's see, you'll have a power wire coming into here, then you'll have a wire coming out and going down to a light switch, which I changed this out. But then you'll also have an outlet on a wall. This used to have a ironing board in it. So the wires will, be coming out, and it'll be like an octopus and tentacles coming out. They're coming down to all the different outlets and everything else. And when you're up in the junction box, you can't see all that. You just know that there's a bunch of hot wires tied together, neutrals tied together. There's not I think there's pretty much no grounds in this house, or very few. So you don't know what's what. So tying everything for that into that and still having everything else work is a pain in the ass. So anyways, one way to keep cool, I'm rambling on a tangent here. My meds are running out. But get the airflow moving. Get the humidity down. You'd be surprised how much moisture in the air can feel like it amplifies the heat. It's just an effect. So my house, I have a couple of ceiling fans. I got one in the bedroom, I one in the living room. We do have a window shaker, so it doesn't look pretty or anything. I took the face off a long time ago and rewired the controls and stuff. But it's a 2-ton window. It's a 220 outlet, 2-ton window shaker. It's a monster. No real controls for it. I just put that in there so I know what the temp is and stuff. But this thing will freeze over to just a solid block of ice if you let it run, because it's blowing cold air out here and it's bringing warm air in right here. Well, the cold air goes back anyways. Blah 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 blah. So, oh God, more light. So anyways, we have that. But this thing, I swear, it costs $3 to $5 a minute to run. So you run that for an hour, it brings the temp of the house down 8 degrees, and it costs you, well, 60 times 5. You know, you're just like, well, I'm broke. Can I get a mortgage so I can drop 5 degrees? And that's bad, you know. So another solution is that if the temp outside drops, you got to get the heat out of the house. So generally the laws of thermodynamics is hot goes to cold, kind of. Temp outside goes outside, or temp outside goes outside. That makes a lot of sense. The temp in the house goes out. Let me start over. When the temp outside drops and your house is still hot, a lot of people will just go open the doors. That's fine. But it's better if you can pressurize the house and push the air where you want it to go. Don't just rely on the whims of a breeze. Although if you have one, that's awesome. I don't most of the time. So we have these little window fans, and they suck or blow depending on what direction you have them. They have 2 settings: low, high, and off. And I kid you not, low and high, that probably is like 10 CFM. Woo! I don't know, maybe I haven't actually put a flow hood on it or anything and stuff. It's not crazy impressive. It's not mildly impressive. Unless you're high or drinking. No, if you're high or drinking, it's less impressive. But anyways, so I will put one in this window here by the air conditioner, and I will push in as much, or suck in as much cool air as I can in the house. After, I'm not doing very good here with the story. Okay, so scenario, it's hot in the house, you know, and this house, because it's built in 41, does not have very good insulation in the walls or the attic or at all. And I'm walking around, so I know that it's not going to be great lighting. I apologize for that. But so here's my thermostat. So, oh God, you can't see anything. Oh, I suck. Hold on, let me see if I can get a light on. Oh, it's a little better. So right now it's a nice comfortable 80 degrees in here. My wife we have no central air, and bless her soul, she's got it down to 62. I'm assuming she's hoping that does. I've explained anyways. She wants it to be 62. So when the temp first starts dropping out, well, here, let me take you into my bathroom. So I got thermometers all over the place. So I have this all broken indoor-outdoor thermometer. And so right now is a perfect example. 78 degrees out, 78.6 degrees in. I should have opened the window a while ago. So as soon as the temp starts dropping outside, I put one of those fans in the bedroom window over here. So yes, our windows have bars on them. It came that way. The previous tenant was a gunsmith, and you make guns and you store them in your house. You don't want to get broken into. Anyways, so when the temp first drops, I put a fan in the bedroom window there, blowing in, so I can get the cool air in the bedroom, because it sucks when you're miserably hot trying to sleep. So you're blowing the cool air in. I go over to the other window. My house is only 1,000 square feet, and that's split 2 levels, so it's only 500 square feet, so it's not a huge house. It's almost like living in a tiny house, but it's a house. And so anyways, I bring the cool air in on the bedroom, and I push the air out of the kitchen. So I'm creating a cross current, and I'm trying to drop the temp of the bedroom first, because it's the most crucial. I can deal with the heat walking around, but I want to sleep comfortably, like most people. You want to go outside? Buddy wants to go outside. You go potty? All right, good boy. All right, so anyways, I know this video is getting long, but so I want to drop the temp of the bedroom first. That's kind of the most critical. And then when we're getting ready to go to bed, I'll flip. Wife always doesn't always do this. She just does it however she wants. That's fine. There's no right or wrong. I'm just retarded, and it has to make sense in my own head, which I guess is for everybody, but whatever. When I go to bed, I flip it around, so I'm no longer pushing. Am I doing this right? No, I'm skipping a step. So before I go to bed, we got the cool air coming in the bedroom and kind of pushing as much as I can out of the house, but hot goes to cold, and I'm trying to push the hot air out of the house because it's cool outside. So I want to bring the cool air into the bedroom, even though it wants to go outside because it's cooler outside. But you can't suck all the air out of the house, all the heat out of the house. You have to create a cross vent. There's got to be ventilation some kind. The pressure is not going to go negative. It's not going to go vacuum, put it that way. It'll go negative, but relative to the outside pressure. Anyways, I don't know if I'm rambling or making sense here and stuff. So try to drop the temp of the bedroom. Now, for about 20 minutes or so before I go to bed, or at about the time I go to bed, we have a fan in the attic. Now, most of the stuff that was done to this house that makes it cool, the previous owner did. But he was a gunsmith. He was not an electrician, a plumber, or a carpenter, or any of this. So we have some weird stuff that it just doesn't make sense. And he had it for either a very specific reason, or I don't know. I just couldn't figure it out. And, anyways. So we have an attic fan, which is awesome. So there is this ceiling floor vent in my ceiling. And I know it's dusty and dirty and everything and stuff, but whatever. So I have here, I'll take you outside real quick. I'm walking around anyways, might as well just go outside. So we have see if I can use the term right. We have a gabled roof. And so where it comes to a peak, we have these big vents. So right about here is the attic level. Yeah, right about here is the attic level. You can kind of see in the window where the ceiling is. So this vent on this side, and it's just open. There's a screen there so bugs and bats and birds can't get in. And on the other side, there's a fan mounted on the inside of the attic. And I plug it in, and it draws fresh, cool air up in the attic out the other side. So it's doing two things. It's dropping the temp of the attic, and which is good because when you're trying to cool the house, you have this big hot thing on the top. You don't want to do that any more than you can. I mean, you want to get the heat out of the house, and it's going to rise up into the attic. But you need to get rid of all the heat you can while it's cool out. So the fan doesn't turn on, it plugs in, because the guy's infinite wisdom, he wired it up with an extension cord and then dropped this extension cord down the wall. So when he first moved in, for a long time, we had no idea what was going on. We would plug in this, or there's this orange cord hanging out of the wall, which there's a shelf in the way, I can't show you that, but we didn't know what it went to. It's just an extension cord coming out of the wall. When you plug it in, you just hear this noise. You're not really sure what's going on until I crawled up in the attic and saw. And so what happens is we plug that in. I'll plug it in for you so you can hear it here in a minute. And it draws the air across the ceiling, across the attic, bringing cool air in. And as it goes through, it creates a vacuum and it sucks the heat out of the house, which is kind of ingenious. Especially for the house that built in 1941. The dog wants in. So you plug it in. It draws as much hot air as it can out of the attic. It sucks some of the hot air out of the house. And while that's happening, I have the two fans, one in the bedroom and the one in the kitchen, spinning around too much here, pushing in. So I'm trying to pressurize the house with the cool air, and then the attic fan is drawing a vacuum and sucking the hot air out of the highest point where the hot air rises, the top, sucking it out. But I can only run it for about 20 minutes before the cord starts getting hot, because I have a shitty low quality extension cord plugged in, because there's where he has the orange cord plugged in is not close to an outlet, whatever. And so I plug that in, draws the air out, run it for about 20 minutes or so, and then after we're getting ready to go to bed, we either leave both fans blowing in to drop the temp of the house, or I'll leave the kitchen one facing out, depending on how hot it was out and how hot it is in, to get as much draft and cross breeze through the house. The net result is I can typically get 10 degrees hotter than outside after 8 to 10 hours of doing this. And you're thinking like, wow, that's really crappy return. But it's better than $5 a minute to run the air conditioner. And if it's above 80 in the house, which right now it's right at 80, but like if it's 84, 86, 88 in the house, we'll run the air conditioner for 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes, and it'll break that temp, where it's just like, you know, you get that cool, it's a relief is what it is. And then especially when the temps are pretty close to the same indoors and outdoors, we'll run it for a little bit just to get that relief, and then we'll switch the fans up and open the windows up and just get the air flowing as much as we can. And we will be lucky if we lag behind the outside. So if the temp dropping outside is 1 degree every half an hour, or 1 degree an hour, or 1 degree every 15 minutes, if we drop half that, we're lucky. You know, if it keeps up, that's awesome. Usually it will only keep up if the temp drops a ton, drops 10, 15 degrees in a short period of time. There was a thunderstorm came through, or a hailstorm, or whatever the case may be, tornado, I don't know, happens once every 50 years. We'll get a significant temp drop, but it will not keep up with outside unless we open all the doors up or whatever. And then you're at the whim of the environment, but sometimes it's worth it and you just take a chance. So this video is way longer than I wanted to go, but my ADD meds have ran out, I'm pretty sure, and I'm rambling, and I listened to a Audible original book on Molly Burke. I don't know, super popular blind motivational speaker, and she's pretty cool. The book's pretty good. I highly recommend it. I'm not affiliated with it or getting paid or anything and stuff. I listen to between 40 and 50 books a year. Well, listen to, most of them I listen to because I'm dyslexic and have ADD, but I get in between 40 and 50 books a year between the Kindle app, and mostly thanks to Amazon. and Audible, just as far as corporations go. But anyways, getting distracted. So hope you guys have a good whatever summer. Hope the heat doesn't kill you. Like, share, subscribe, and really want to put out more content. But I watched that video interview with the CEO of YouTube. It was put out like 2 days ago, and she's not very encouraging. You know, saying, "Well, we're trying to do better," when you've done better in the past, is your credibility is. Sorry, I mean, you're obviously not for creators as much as you guys say you are, unless you're a multi-million-dollar actor or music video producer. I don't know, but whatever. You guys are trying. Hey, that's better than nothing, but not much better than nothing. It is what it is. Anyways, I'm gonna stop talking, otherwise I'll keep talking forever. Bye, guys.